Welcome to the Art of Japanese Green Tea.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Griff, and today we're going to talk to you about matcha, a powdered green tea which is used in the Japanese tea ceremony.
So the first thing that we should discuss is that this is going to be more than one video we're going to have to do. Because it's just, we have so much ground to cover.
Yeah, there's like teaware, there's like the history.
Different types of matcha.
Yeah.
Like
there's so much to talk about. So in
tea ceremony.
Tea ceremony, yeah. Exactly. That's like that'd be like a huge video on its own that could barely be a video.
Yeah.
But for this video, we're just going to talk to you about uzucha, which is the thin type of matcha. It's the most commonly found matcha, so that's what we're going to talk about it. And, you know, if you just want to imagine a nice bowl of matcha, we're going to get you from here to there in the quickest way possible with, you know, a bit of history on the way. So speaking about history.
So matcha is obviously the powdered tea, but it's not to be mistaken with like powdered sencha or like instant tea and stuff like that. It is tencha that's been ground into a super fine powder.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just a lot higher. It's like very high quality, so you just don't want to mistake that.
Yeah, it's like tencha is, you know, not the same, but very similar to like gyokuro. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about. And so matcha was, its origins come from China, just like all Japanese tea, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
And in 1191, it was brought to Japan by the Buddhist monk Eisai.
Yes.
We got his name right.
Eisai.
Eisai.
Starting in
Eisai, our hero.
Yes. Starting in the 1300s, it became very popular in Japanese high society. And today, it's enjoyed by people all around the world.
Yeah. And, you know, with it being enjoyed by people all around the world, there's, you know, some misconceptions about it too. So we'll talk about that a little later and maybe, you know, help your buying power and so you can be sure you get something good. But before we get to that, let's talk about the teaware.
Okay. So we have our teaware here. As you can see. So our first piece of teaware is our chawan, or tea bowl, and you know it's a bowl that you use. If you don't have a chawan, you can just use a cereal bowl or something like that. You just want to look for a bowl that has a nice curved edge. Yeah.
The curved edge, like, it helps with, it makes it easier to foam and whisk the matcha. And, you know, there are, like, many different types of chawan, like, different shapes, ones for different seasons even. But, you know, just keeping it simple, look for one that has a rounded edge, and you'll find it to be a little easier that way.
So our next item is our chashaku, or tea scoop. If you don't have a chashaku, teaspoon will work fine, just to get the tea into the bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we have here our paper towel, or chakin.
Which would be a linen cloth used in the tea ceremony.
But for today, we're just going to be using a paper towel because it's just simpler and, you know, don't want to go through too many chakins too quickly by doing it every day.
Yeah.
And then we have our chasen, or tea whisk. And if you don't have a chasen, you can go buy a chasen. Because really, it's irreplaceable.
Yeah, there's no way around it. Like, this is 100 to 120 tines. There's like two different kinds, right? There's one with lower, but again, for uzucha, 100 to 120 tines. I cannot think of a kitchen device that would substitute.
You just, yeah.
You have to use it, and it's because there's so many tines. The bamboo is pliable. You gotta use this. Gotta do it right. And speaking of doing it right, you also have to strain.
So I guess we can consider this a piece of teaware, but this is actually just a filter basket out of an old teapot that we can. You don't want to use a filter basket.
Yeah.
But for straining, it works perfectly.
Yeah.
So we're gonna need 2 pieces of paper as well.
Ooh, we got 3 this time. Lucky.
The first one, we're just gonna fold hot dog wise.
Yeah, hot dog it up.
And that one's complete.
Done. Boom. Step 2. You're going to want to make a funnel out of this one. And you want to make sure the hole isn't too small, because if it is, then the matcha will sort of cling to the sides.
When we first started getting into matcha, we tried to use like a kitchen funnel.
Yeah.
And it just did not work out.
Yeah, it was...
You need a wide enough hole that it can get through there.
Yeah. So I'm just going to put a piece of tape along the edge to hold it. And by the way, if this section goes a little too quick for you, we have a complete article on straining matcha on our site, so you can check that out. One last step to this, just for your viewing pleasure, we're going to cut the extra bit here off. It'll make it a little easier for you to see.
You don't have to actually do that when you're making it. And actually, if you want, you can buy like a specific strainer for that.
Yeah.
But we haven't.
Yeah.
Because, this works good for us.
Yeah.
But if that's your thing, you can
go for it. Just move some of this out of the way. So, I guess we don't need to move those out of the way. Here we go. First, place this down like this. You'll notice we have 2 containers, but in reality we have just 1 package. We're storing all of the matcha, like all the unused matcha in here, and we're going to be putting our strained matcha into this one. And there's actually already a little bit in, so we're going to start by pouring that out.
Even though we have strained this previously, we're going to start by re-straining it.
Yeah.
Because it is important to have it be properly strained, or otherwise you're going to have clumps. And
yeah.
Some people...
some people don't do that, and I think it's because they're afraid of like wasting matcha, because like bits will get stuck to the paper, but...
It's just so not worth it to not strain it.
Yeah. For like the couple milligrams you lose.
You lose like tiny amount of matcha maybe, but the end result is just going to be so much better if you strain it properly.
Yeah. So this is the bag which it came from. We're going to put a little more matcha out here than what we're going to be using. And the reason for that is it's easier to scoop it out of the tin when there's more than you need, but don't put too much in. Just do a little more than what you need. That's probably good. And I'm just going to seal this back up. Keep it nice and fresh.
So we're going to put the strainer into the funnel. Just like that.
And I'm going to grab the secondary camera.
Put that on there.
Yep.
Nice and snug.
Yep.
Pour this into it.
Yeah.
See if we can...
And you can see the matcha is really vibrant and really green. This is one of those misconceptions that I think, not misconceptions, but like it should be green as an emerald. Like, whereas if like I find it in a lot of like of tea shops that you'd find in maybe a mall, it's more like the color of dead skin, and obviously like the more pale it looks, the older, lower quality it is. So now Matt's just pushing the tea through the strainer with the spoon. And of course the tea is coming down and going in And okay.
That's good.
And you can see the end result is nice and strained.
No clumps in that.
Nope.
That is what you want. So just move this.
Yeah. Next step is preheating.
So we're just gonna fill up a Pyrex cup or what have you, just because it's a bit easier and it will give it a chance to cool down a bit.
Yep.
So from there, we're gonna put in a bit more than you would actually want when you're brewing it to preheat with.
Yeah.
And this is just to get the bowl warmed up, and also you want to soften the tines on your chesson.
Yes. And as you can see, this is a brand new chesson. And sometimes people get a little worried or confused. This is a very nice shape, but once you start using it, over time it becomes more like this. And that's perfectly normal, so don't worry about that. But for now, if you want to give that a go.
With this one?
You want to use the new one? Might as well.
Alright, so we can see what happens here.
So right now Matt's just putting it into the bowl, warming up the tines, giving them making them wet so they're nice and pliable. Looking good. And then once it's all nice and softened up, he's going to want to check the tines to see if there's any broken bits. Obviously with this brand new one, there shouldn't be, but they do eventually break off. And if they do, you can just simply grab one, pull it off. It's good to go. Because you certainly don't want to drink a bowl of matcha with one of those little tines in there. Look good?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. As you can see, the shape has already changed.
So the middle still has a bit to unfurl, but the outside edges do not have the round
Curl anymore.
curl anymore.
So we're going to dump that out. Oh, we totally forgot to mention.
Yeah, our other piece of teaware
Mm-hmm.
is our kensui, and it's just a bucket for your wastewater.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have that, you can just use a flower pot, whatever.
Just water your
Water your
just dump
plants.
water your plants. You know, don't really know how well they'll like hot water in their root system, but I'm no botanist, so
Yeah, it's just a wastewater container.
yeah.
Nothing special.
Yep. Then we're going to want to dry it with our handy dandy paper towel. And, you know, there'd be a nice little routine if we were doing this with a chakin, the linen cloth. But we're just going to make sure it's dry, so that way the tea won't clump to the bottom of the bowl.
Alright, so got that dry.
Okay.
Would you like to do the honors?
I would love to do the honors. So, we're going to take 2 scoops with our chashaku.
And each scoop would be about 1 gram.
Yeah. I'm guessing that when we do this, we're probably using a little more than 1 gram, like per scoop that is. But that's sort of the rough amount. Maybe you want to get the secondary camera going. Hold her sideways. Okay. We get 1. And we're going to get 2. 1 and 2. Just going to tap that on the side of the bowl. Get the extra off. There we go. Next step will be adding the water, and we're going to add approximately 75 milliliters, which equals, again, approximately 2.5 ounces.
And this water should have been cooled down now from sitting in the cup, and it should be about 85 degrees Celsius or 185 Fahrenheit.
Yep. Now the next thing is the way we whisk this is kind of important. You'll first want to start by going back and forth in a linear fashion, like in the shape of an I or a lowercase l, whatever. And then we're going to switch to an M or a W fashion. This will start to help crush the extra bubbles in the foam. And then you'll just want to do one little swirl around and pull out. Why you want to do that? Just because, I don't know, it's a nice way to finish it off. And it helps add a little more of the foam to the center, which is kind of nice. So let's have at it.
Now we'll take you some practice to get your whisking down, and that's okay.
Yep. Yeah, need to just build a little, I don't know, get the wrist action down. Okay. And then a little swirl around. What do you think?
Beautiful.
Nice and foamy.
That's how you make a bowl of matcha.
Yep. So, there you have it. We took you from the beginning, the empty bowl, to now, here's something that you can drink.
Oh, don't mind if I do.
That was for me.
I said you can drink.
So, I guess that is about it. And we will see you after the break with a little more information. Ready? And so we're back.
This is the bonus section?
This is the bonus section.
The bonus section?
Didn't you read the title? The title was up for like 2 seconds. Didn't you read it?
I was too busy drinking my matcha.
Jamming out to the song. Okay, so here we go. There's a few more things to talk about with matcha.
A few.
Yeah, a few. Quite a few. I guess first maybe we should wash this up a bit. So, when you do the tea ceremony, or depending how you like to do it, there's quite a bit to how you clean it. We will also be rinsing this all out at the sink. We're just going to get it, prepped as if we were to, brew up another. But it's probably good. So the first thing we want to talk to you about is, again, the shape of your cha sen, or your tea whisk. So obviously this one's still a little more like bloomed up and open, and this one will get there eventually. But even so, that you shouldn't worry about the shape of it changing over time. You want to have it so the middle piece stays together and the outer piece stays together. And there is a handy little stand, just like this, which is kind of specialized. You'll probably want to buy one specifically and not, just use something that's kind of like it. And this allows you to sit it on, just like that, and that'll help make sure it keeps its shape, so the middle part and the edges still stay, fairly uniformed. So, I guess there's a few more good things to talk about, like the
health benefits and such, with the amino acids and the
caffeine
and the
L-theanine, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of health benefits to matcha, and one of the main reasons for that is the fact that you're eating the whole leaf, right? If you're brewing sencha or gyokuro or what has you, you're just infusing the leaf, but with this you're literally ingesting all of it.
Well, The stems and the veins are taken out
Yeah, that's true.
before they grind it.
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's another story. But so because of this, as you probably know, there's a fair bit of caffeine in tea and in Japanese green tea. So that means because you're ingesting all of it, you also are taking in a fair bit of
more caffeine. Well, I see that as a good thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of people say, green tea and weight loss, and that's kind of a controversial topic. But, to keep it plain and simple, green tea and weight loss, when it comes to, say, if you're having a workout and you want to get all fired up, have a bowl of matcha before you do it. It would be, it's a great way to go. As you can tell, we work out all the time.
But yeah, I can't really say that I personally anything about weight loss, but
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna get fat by drinking tea,
No.
where you might by drinking soda.
Yeah.
So,
Or like those coffees that are like lattes and have a lot of milk and stuff like that. Coffee on its own doesn't have only has a few calories in it, but what people add to it usually increases that by quite a bit. But on top of the caffeine, there's also something called L-theanine, and I believe I'm saying that right. I'm not really sure, but what this does is I believe it promotes alpha brain waves or something like that. What it kind of comes down to is it seems to make people happy. It's a mood elevator too. Once you drink not once you drink caffeine, but once you drink matcha, I find that, for me at least, my mood's elevated. I've heard other people say that too, so.
Mm-hmm. And then, there's actually a long list of different things that are in this and good for you, but.
Yeah. Probably, a couple things I was thinking about the caffeine. So obviously you don't really want to drink it into the evening or else you're probably going to stay up. And on the flip side, you probably don't want to drink it right in the morning, first thing too. Because matcha on an empty stomach can, it can kind of upset your stomach. So, of course you can have matcha in the morning, but, be sure to have your breakfast first.
I've definitely just sat down and had several bowls of matcha on an empty stomach, and you get jittery, and it's,
Not nice.
And it's got the antioxidants and all of that jazz, but most tea has that.
Yeah.
Well, Japanese green tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, there's a lot of misconceptions because matcha is becoming very popular around the world, and when you look for matcha to find, if you're looking in a supermarket or slightly better, I guess, would be an actual tea shop in a mall, you want to make sure that it's a very vibrant green, because if it's kind of a muted green or that skin color we mentioned.
That one we actually saw in a tea store, and it was that color.
It looked like dead skin, and it was so gross.
If you look at the can of tea, it looks like green pigment.
Yeah.
It's the greenest thing you'll ever see.
Yeah.
So if you just look and you're like, oh, that's kind of green, I guess, that's probably not good enough.
Yeah, and I think that's because it's old. I don't really know if you can process it and have it not be green. But
yeah, I don't know.
Stay green, stay good. So
green is good.
Of course. Okay, I think that's about it. So as always, you can visit our website, aj-gt.com or theartofjapanesegreentea.com. You can see us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, and you can also see us on Twitter. So there's plenty of ways to stay connected. So until next time. Bye.